So what is the best offshore trust jurisdiction? If you search the internet, you'll find articles and charts comparing different foreign trust jurisdictions. And these jurisdictions include Nevis, Bahamas, Belize, Cayman Islands, as well as the Cook Islands. So the answer to the question is twofold. And the first answer is one, Cook Islands, and two, it doesn't matter. So let me explain what I mean. Academically, if you're looking at the jurisdictions and looking at where offshore trusts are being formed today, most providers of offshore trust for clients, attorneys or these non-attorney companies that sell the forms, most of them are setting up trust in the Cook Islands. And that's because technically on paper, the Cook Islands does have excellent statutes, and more importantly, there are some U.S. cases involving Cook Islands Trust where the U.S. courts have upheld the protective features of the Cook Islands Trust. Also, there are probably more trust companies that are dealing with Cook Islands jurisdiction trust than there are companies dealing in other jurisdictions. So on paper and academically, I think most attorneys will suggest that the Cook Islands currently is the favored jurisdiction for offshore trust. The second part of my answer was it doesn't matter. And what I mean is that practically speaking, the most important protective feature of an offshore trust plan is the trustee, not the jurisdiction. So regardless of what jurisdiction you have a trust in, the thing that protects your trust is the strength, experience, and trustworthiness of the trustee. If you have a good trustee, you have good protection. If you have a less than good trustee in the Cook Islands or anywhere else, you don't have good protection, because it's the trustee that's going to have title to your assets. It's the trustee that potentially could be called upon to defend your assets against a creditor that's trying to impose a judgment in the Cook Islands or elsewhere against your trust. So the most important decision is not choosing the jurisdiction, it's choosing the trustee. When we advise clients, we select or recommend one or at the most two trust companies that we find are most competent and most trustworthy for a reasonable fee. And we recommend trust companies where we've had other clients who've had favorable experiences in terms of trust administration and being able to readily, seamlessly retrieve money and assets from the trust. And we recommend trust companies that have actually defended claims against the trust. So we're not looking for the cheapest trust company, we're looking for the best trust company for our clients, because it is the trust company that is actually going to have their sort of hands on the steering wheel. They're going to have their control over the assets. So I think the selection of the trustee is much more important than the selection of the trust jurisdiction. You see things about trust jurisdictions, comparing them, because it's just an easy way to write an article. It's just something that people can go through and make charts, and it comes up with pretty charts about the advantages, disadvantages, and statute of limitations, and various kinds of technical, legal, supposed benefits or detriments of different jurisdictions. But believe me, from years of experience, it is most important to choose the correct trustee, and that's more important than choosing the correct trust jurisdiction when you're evaluating an offshore trust plan.